Hey everyone, welcome to Ian and Friends Giro d'Italia edition. I am FloBikes Senior Editor Ian Dille.
And I am Michael Sheehan, Ian's friend. Today we are going to talk about the thrilling Stage 13 sprint finish. What do we see?
It was kind of a ho-hum sprint day, you know, one of these sort of rest days during the Giro d'Italia where a breakaway went, mostly pro-continental riders. They let them out on a leash, not too far, about 3 minutes. There was some excitement for the intermediate sprint. Elia Viviani obviously still cares about the points jersey. Sam Bennett, not so much.
Yeah, he did not take my advice to go for the intermediate sprints. Very, very defiant in that he only wants stage wins, which is unfortunate for me because I picked him for the points jersey. I'm going to get over that eventually. But yeah, Viviani made like a last-minute decision to just make a charge for the intermediate sprint. Almost came into a barrier. It was a little bit hectic, but he did roll across the line, further extending his lead.
Yeah, it was like he came from about 30 wheels back and just barely ekes by the barrier, almost takes himself out. But it's a smart move by him, you know. Maybe it was the director, like last minute, oh, there's still points on the line. Let's scoop some up. So after his win today, Viviani is, I think, 40 points up on Bennett, and there's really only 2 sprint stages left. Rome on the last day, and then on Wednesday, there's what could be a sprint stage, but from what we've seen so far at the Giro, these could be sprint stages, usually turn into more of a classics type stage.
Yeah, and so stage 17, that next potential sprint day, it does have a pretty good uphill finish and some sizable lumps throughout. I think that if Bora Hansgrohe wants to ride hard for Sam Bennett and put Elia Viviani into trouble, they definitely could do some damage there. We'll see. Bennett definitely has the climbing legs, but like we said yesterday, Viviani is just the flat-out fastest sprinter at the Giro.
We have an interview with Quickstep, yes. Rick Van Slyck. His name might actually be Rick Van Slyke, but it is pronounced it is spelled Rick Van Slyck.
We're going to go with that, yeah.
He's a rapper on the side. And it was interesting. He was saying that Viviani's goal right now is just to make it to Rome, to survive this next week of mountains. I mean, it's a mountain every day except for, you know, Tuesday's time trial, so he's got a big week ahead of him.
Yeah, it looks nasty. Should we go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tomorrow?
Let's talk about the sprint. We haven't talked about that yet. We kind of fast forwarded.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the sprint.
It was exciting. I mean, typical messy sprint at the Giro. Nobody totally in control. Willie or Tristina rider with a super impressive final K attack. Looked like he was going to steal the show.
Yeah, that was Marco Coledon, and there was a lot of disorganization. To like backtrack, I've got to take my hat off to the Giro organizers. They have not made a boring stage yet at this race. We saw a Cat 4 climb about 15-20K before the finish today, and it put people on the ropes. It was just hard enough to kind of take the sting out of the sprinter's legs a bit, so we didn't really see the control we would expect from Quickstep going in. And yeah, Willie or Tristina, this guy, Marco Coledon, just attacked so hard with 1K to go. And normally on a sprint stage, you'd be like, that idiot, he's going to be back in 5 seconds. But he got a huge gap. There just wasn't really the organized chase, and he almost looked like he pulled off an impossible move there.
Yeah, we saw EF Education first, Drapac going all out to bring Coledon back. And then I feel like Molado maybe got a little nervous and jumped early. He's been having great sprints, a clear shot to the line, but it's just hard to beat Viviani. Viviani was planted right on his wheel, had 2 Quickstep teammates with him. It looked like one was actually sweeping his back wheel. Obviously, Viviani's rear wheel is the one everyone wants, and that's actually how Bennett beat him the other day. But Viviani's just too quick, and
he's too quick, and he's tasted the win, and he just has it dialed. I think that for a guy like Modolo, he just doesn't quite have the confidence yet because he hasn't cracked the formula at this race. So you know, for sprinters, so much of it is timing, and you just have to be confident when to make your jump. And Modolo hasn't quite figured it out to contest the likes of Viviani. One person, Sam Bennett, he came from far back and again punched out a really impressive sprint, managed to pass everyone else except for Viviani. Viviani was just He was gone, though. He had bike links.
Yeah, maybe a positioning mistake on Sam Bennett's part, but at the same time, we've seen that, in a classic sprint like this, Viviani is just the fastest man. So they'll line up again for, another potential sprint battle on Wednesday. But yeah, let's talk about tomorrow. Monte Zoncolan. It is going to be an insane stage. It starts with, there's two categorized climbs leading into Zoncolan. The Paso Duran is a Cat 2, but it's no joke of a climb. It's got a ramp of like 18% in the first K.
This is going to be a miserable stage for the likes of the sprinters. We are not going to be talking about them for a couple of days. It's tomorrow, Zoncolan. Zoncolan is just a iconic climb in the Giro. It is possibly the hardest climb in all of Europe, and to get there, we have 4 more categorized climbs throughout the 186-kilometer stage.
Yeah, and by the time they get to Zoncolan, this is a climb that's 10 kilometers long, 12% gradient, but from kilometer 2 to kilometer 7, it averages 15% gradient. Like, wherever you live, the hardest climb in your area, imagine that for 3 miles. I mean, it's just a literal wall of concrete, and they're going to be running the lightest gears they can. In fact, Tom Dumoulin, we have an interview with him today. He wouldn't tell our correspondent what gearing he was going to run. Our correspondent asked him 3 times. Tom would not tell him how light of gearing he would run, but I would imagine whatever the smallest gear he can put on his bike, he's going to have it.
Yeah, and tomorrow I think this is going to be the day where we're going to have to start seeing Chris Froome and some of the other guys who are a bit further back on GC. They're going to have to start making inroads on Simon Yates because, waiting time is over. This is going to be a really, really decisive stage, and you can't fake it on a climb like the Zoncolan. Yeah,
there's a lot of guys we haven't seen yet really make a dent on this race that we were sort of expecting to. Aru, Pino, Lopez. So it'll be interesting to see what legs they bring to Zoncolan. What are your thoughts? Can Dumoulin do it? Can he hang with Yates? I mean, based on what we've seen from Yates so far, this looks like a tailor-made climb for Yates.
The whole race seems tailor-made for Yates right now. He's just been riding so well. Regarding Dumoulin, my take on him is he is exactly where he wants to be. It seems just the way he's riding, he's never really in too much difficulty on these climbs. I think that he's absolutely nailed his preparation. The one thing that he wasn't counting on is just the form that Simon Yates has right now. And I think we're going to see a really, really good ride from Tom Dumoulin, probably as good as we could expect from him. The big variable is how good is Simon Yates going to be.
Yeah, if Dumoulin doesn't crack, he wins the Giro.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge test for him. This is the hardest climb in the whole race, the hardest climb in Europe. People say it's tougher than the Angliru and the Vuelta. In fact, it was the Angliru that made the Giro organizers go out and search for a climb that was harder than they had in the Vuelta a España.
Some inter-race competition there.
Yeah, for sure. And they had locals cut down the trees on the top of this climb so that the racers would emerge to the bald peak, and the whole thing is just this big amphitheater. So the last K, you can see the climbers just coming up, fighting the gradient. So it's going to be a huge show.
I think the one thing that Simon Yates is going to be missing tomorrow, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Chaves is not going to be there to help out. We have seen Esteban Chaves just dropped every single day since he lost time. What was that, 4 or 5 days ago?
Yeah, if you're getting dropped on a Cat 4 climb today, you're in deep trouble for the Zoncolan. And what is going on with him?
Honestly, I would have his team take a serious look at him because this is a very different Chaves than we saw the first week of racing. And honestly, kind of concerning. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, we haven't heard really anything from the team, if he's battling illness or whatever. I mean, allergies maybe, but it was pouring rain the other day and he was still getting dropped. So I don't know. I sort of feel like they should just go ahead and pull him from the Giro and save him for the Tour.
Yeah, they keep throwing him into the race, but he's just not there. Not sure what's going on.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting without that two-pronged attack if that factors into what Mitchelton Scott can do on the climb. At the same time, Dumoulin, he's got Sam Omen as an aide. He's been riding well, but as far as the team advantage, it feels like everybody's sort of on a level playing field at this Giro, and on the climbs at least.
Yeah, don't think I have anything else to add there. I think we're just gonna
wait
and see. It's going to be
wait,
going to be decisive. We're finally going to see some serious GC attacks.
Yeah. Tune in tomorrow for Monte Zoncolan on FloBikes.
Thanks for joining. See you then.